Welcome to the Film Garage 208 podcast. My name is Sarah, and this is Daniel.
Hello.
Hello. Today we have with us Trent.
Hello.
He is the
Welcome, Trent.
owner of Mountain River Ranch.
Yes, thank you so much for
Very cool.
letting me be here.
Yeah, thank you for being here. Before we learn more about you,
Yeah.
Okay.
what is your business?
So Mountain River Ranch is, first and foremost, it's an RV park with themed cabins for Airbnb cabins.
Fun.
A guy by the name of Trent King started Mountain River Ranch in 1985.
Okay.
So he, over the years, great guy.
They were themed cabins back in 1985.
Correct. Yeah.
Okay.
He kind of started building those.
Interesting.
Yeah.
What were the themes back then?
Are they the same things?
All Western themed.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Being a ranch, I guess, all Western themed. And
makes
he's an
sense.
actual cowboy, actually.
Okay.
Had longhorn cattle, had a ranch down in New Mexico, was a roper,
Cool.
a real cowboy. So everything he did was themed after, that
As it should
mantra.
be.
So as it should be. Yeah. I'm a city kid, born and raised in Idaho Falls. So not much of a cowboy, but I enjoy the theme. So
Yeah.
Um,
So it's still there. You didn't get rid of the cowboy theme.
Still
no,
Western.
still there.
Perfect.
We only changed the name of, I think, of one cabin. And we did change a little bit. My wife's very into decorating. She loves to come in and, make things a little more, I say fancy. But so she came in and remodeled every one of the cabins, gave them a new, like a facelift,
Okay.
and made them a little bit more modern.
So wait, when did you get the cabins? When did this become your business?
We purchased Mountain River Ranch in May of 2021.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right after
Scary
COVID and
time
all
to buy
that
it, yeah.
stuff.
Yeah, right after COVID. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And
What
how-
made you do that?
So I'm a real estate investor, I guess, by trade. When I was about 23, I started a mortgage company here in Idaho Falls.
Nice.
Legacy Mortgage.
Okay.
I've heard of that one.
Yeah, still in existence.
Nice. Are you still involved?
I'm not.
Yeah.
Good friend of mine who worked for me for years, Craig Curtis, purchased
Yeah.
Legacy Mortgage in 2014.
Great.
So we started in the mortgage business, started
Yeah.
doing real estate, which was really kind of, I guess, my first passion.
Yeah. That's fun.
It's fun.
That's really cool.
Very, very fun business.
Yeah.
What made you start a mortgage company? Like, did you work for one before and see the inside of it?
Yeah.
a
At
little,
23. Like it's,
At 20.
Yeah.
Okay, this is a very interesting story. So I served an LDS mission,
or- Okay.
came home at 21,
Where?
the Netherlands,
Oh, fun.
oh, I'm
Yeah.
so, that's
awesome.
amazing.
Holland.
We
yeah.
love Amsterdam.
Oh, yeah. I
That's
served
really
in
cool.
Amsterdam for 6
Oh,
months.
Really?
I love it.
Yeah.
Fun.
So it was
Yeah.
fun.
Yeah.
Unbelievable experience.
I'm sure that was a hard area to do that, though.
Just the language.
yeah.
My cousin was in the Netherlands also for her mission. I'm sure it was Dutch speaking. Did you
Yeah.
have to learn Dutch?
Yeah, for
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah.
A lot of people just on the go, too. Not a lot of it's just constant, busy.
Very,
Yeah.
very on
Hard
the
to
go.
approach people, I imagine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's 30 years ago, And so now America's a lot like that. It seems like Americans now are on the go. And
Sure.
I think 30 years ago, Americans were a little slower paced, but you're right. Europeans,
true, huh?
Europeans are, it was a new thing for me. People just always,
Just the European culture.
yeah,
It's fun.
always going somewhere.
Yeah. Okay, so you did your mission.
Oh, yeah. We got so distracted by Amsterdam.
Yeah.
It's just a
We
great
got
place.
excited,
Everybody
yeah.
go to Amsterdam.
Yeah, we could talk for hours about Amsterdam.
Literally, we could.
So did the mission, came home, just, tried the school thing.
Okay.
Never loved school, even in high school. Just wasn't a big thing for me. I think I have
What high school did you go
ADD.
to?
I went to Idaho Falls High School.
Me too.
Did you really?
Yeah.
Yeah, go
And so did my
Tigers.
parents and my grandparents. around
So
there.
who are your parents?
My dad is Kyle Hansen.
Okay. I'm not sure if I know
What
him, but
year? I don't know what year
I
you
graduated in 92,
What year were you born? Federal.
74.
Oh, you're close. My dad is 2 years older than you.
Okay.
So you guys would have maybe
Maybe you
interacted.
crossed
You
paths,
probably
yeah.
crossed
Yeah,
paths
we
at
probably
one
did
point.
a little bit for sure. IF was a great school.
It's the same. I don't think it's changed.
No, not
relic.
much at all.
Yeah.
It is a
It
relic.
is. It's a relic. It is a
relic.
relic. Okay, sorry. Keep getting distracted.
So yeah, no problem at all. It's fun to talk about.
So you
stuff
went
like this.
to school.
So went to school.
Tried that
You know,
out.
even in high school, didn't love school. Tried, you know, the Rick's College thing. I was working at a building supply company selling building supplies. So for construction, say lumber, nails, things like that.
Okay. Like in sales, kind of.
In sales, yeah. So in sales, and had a unique opportunity come up. A friend of my father's was selling long distance, which a lot of the viewers, you guys maybe don't even know
Like
what
the
long
phone,
distance.
calling on the phone.
Yeah.
I
Yes.
love that.
So, you know, back
You
in
have to
those
wait till
days,
after 5 o'clock to get your long distance calls in.
yeah, otherwise it cost you too much. So this was a new thing, right?
Yeah,
Long distance
so funny.
for cheap.
Okay.
And they had this new program where you could go to companies that spent a lot of money on long distance phone calls and help them save money on their phone bill.
Interesting.
So my dad talked to me about that. I called a neighbor. You guys probably know the name Todd Peterson.
I do know that
Definitely heard
name.
it, yeah.
Very successful. Apex was one of his first companies.
Okay.
Vivint
Okay.
is the most, you know.
I've definitely heard the name.
So recently, you know, they sponsored where the Utah Jazz play. It was the
Great.
Vivint home
Wow.
arena.
Right. Okay.
Cool.
Okay.
Incredibly successful, like, you know,
Yeah.
individual. I called him about trying to help him save money on his long distance phone bill.
Just cold call out of nowhere.
Yeah. I mean, I grew up around him. He
I
had
love
brothers
that.
my age.
Okay. Great.
But so here I am thinking I'm going to get this awesome sell for this, you know,
Yeah.
billionaire about saving him some money on his long
On
distance
his long
phone calls.
distance.
And
go?
obviously he knew who I was, and he said, "Hey, you know," so, you know, he was very gracious. He's a gracious individual, and said, "You know what? Forget this long distance thing. We're opening a mortgage business in Idaho Falls, and I want you to help me get that started." So ultimately, that's how
It was
I
a
got.
counter job.
Yeah.
He upsold me. Yeah, he upsold me. So.
And then that's it just went from there.
Yeah, forget the long distance, you know, sales and
Great.
started in the mortgage company
Okay.
And then just loved it from there.
and just left it from there. Yeah. They actually closed their mortgage business down in 98.
Okay.
And then that's when a partner of mine, Jace Howell, and I started Legacy Mortgage
Right.
in 1998.
Okay.
Gotcha.
Cool.
So then we started doing remodels and fix and flips and, you know, kind of everything that was involved in the real estate game.
Yeah.
Growing and growing.
Growing and just, you know, looking at different
Pretty
opportunities.
local around here that you were.
Everything local. Yeah. Well, we're both kind of home bodies and,
Sure.
you know, liked Idaho and
Yeah.
that's
Make
where
it
we
easy.
grew up.
Just
And,
do it here.
yeah. Easy to manage.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because no, managing is the next part of like, if you're getting these properties, now you have to do something with them.
Correct.
That's
Yeah.
the hardest thing though.
That's the hardest
That's
part.
true, yeah.
Managing the process.
Like who's going to be now in your space if you're not in it?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So now
How did you
left
get out
the
of
mortgage game.
So they closed that down in 98.
So then we started Legacy. So we ran the mortgage company from 1998 until 2014. That's when I
Okay.
sold it to Craig.
Okay.
But you know, throughout that time, you learn different things. So in the mortgage industry, you get connections and you start looking at
Sure.
rental properties and how do I diversify from being just a lender to you know, buying a property that helps me generate income.
100%.
So that process over that many years, we started buying and selling property. Ultimately, you know, other friends, other business partners, you start branching out and doing really just real estate based things.
Sure.
So I had bought, I had purchased probably 8 or 10 different fourplexes and single family residences over that time period. I managed those all myself. I don't
It's a lot of
recommend
work.
that.
No, that is a lot of work.
It's a lot of work. And it also, I don't know what the right word is, but when you manage your own rental property, there's always this thing in the background where it's more of a burden. Does that make sense?
It's too close.
It's too close.
It's way too close. I understand.
It's way too close. So me managing those properties made it so I was maybe looking for something different than just a traditional property that I collected rent on and had to fix,
just
backed
something
up
more.
plumbing and electrical that didn't
Just
work.
deal with
Dishwasher that's
like
broken.
daily problems.
Yeah, that's annoying.
Around their schedules and
Around their schedule, middle of the night, late phone calls. So my advice, I guess, if I'm giving advice, is if you own rental properties, hire a management company. 100%.
Worth it.
100% worth it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I look back and I think if I would have had a management company taking care of those properties, maybe I would still own them.
you wouldn't have gotten so burnt out or stressed by it all.
Correct. Yeah, 100%.
So it's like you'd rather just give a little bit of your cut to be able to keep your sanity and continue growing.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
Interesting.
the 8 to 10% that you pay, invaluable.
If it was just one or two rental properties, you probably would have been fine. But
Right.
8, 10, yeah.
Yeah, it starts compounding. So that being said, I got to that point with traditional rentals that I thought, I just don't love this part of real estate. And so I started selling property. Ultimately, when you start selling investment property, you have to figure out what you're going to do with that.
Yeah, what's the
with
goal?
those proceeds, right?
Yeah.
Or how are you going to replace
Because up until that
income?
point, you had been, mortgaging for other people. Like you weren't necessarily profiting off your own stuff yet at that point, like those 8 properties you had.
Like
So-
your investment properties.
Correct. Not as much as
So
I
it was kind
could
of a
have
new
been.
thing at that point, having 8 properties now that you're trying to get rid of, and like, what next?
Yes. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. So just in my mind thinking, what am I going to do? At that point, I'd never really even anticipated or thought about owning an RV park.
Yeah.
But I had helped a friend buy some single wide trailer parks. And in watching him, I noticed one thing. He didn't own the trailers. He just owned the property. And so when there was a problem with their trailer, he didn't have to fix it
In the trailer park.
in the trailer park.
Interesting.
So in my mind, I'm thinking if I owned something that I didn't have to worry about.
I see. Because it's like their own trailer. I see.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I'm just thinking if you own something that you didn't have to fix the
Totally.
plumbing when the power went out in their trailer, or that was their thing. I thought, well, you could still own real estate and then not have the day to day hassle of something going on with a property that you owned.
It'd be like owning a paid parking lot.
Oh
Where
yeah,
like there's not really maintenance you got to do. It's just
That'd be ideal.
Right.
Less maintenance, the better.
we should all go find a paid parking lot and own it together.
Honestly,
I
though.
would.
Literally, I would.
We lived in Hawaii for 6 years, and parking there is crazy.
That was all we would talk about. We were like, man, if we could own a parking structure, man,
What was
we'd
the
be
most
so
I
rich.
paid in a day? I think it was $9 an hour for.
It was like $50
garage
a
parking.
day
Yeah, it capped out at like 50 a day,
Wow.
and that was just like not
for
a nice.
downtown couple of hour parking in a teeny ass place.
Yeah, but we had thought that all the time. We're like, God, this is the best business ever.
A
Like,
parking
they don't
structure.
do anything. And yeah,
Just collect money.
yeah.
Yeah.
It was-
Yeah.
It's amazing.
So that was the ultimate goal too for me, was like, how do I simplify this? And
yeah.
and still I love real estate. There's something about real estate investing that's it's gratifying.
It's fun.
It's fun.
Yeah.
It's satisfying.
It's satisfying
especially if you're putting in work to flip it
for sure.
and get a little bit more value. It's like, cool, I did that.
Yeah. Some of the funnest times I had were flipping properties. And you see this just
Do you flip them yourself, or do you have like a crew that you bring in?
At first I did them myself.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, there were things that I hired out, but I love to demo the property. I love to come in and just take it apart and then piece it back together. My wife is instrumental in a lot of that stuff too. Her vision of, what colors to use
For sure.
and, what kind of schemes to go with
Yeah.
on decorating was a big part of what we did as well. But the fun is, coming in and transforming something that's not so appealing and then make it so it's, everybody likes it or wants it.
So when you got the RV park, you didn't want to gut it naturally.
We changed a ton.
Yeah.
We remodeled all of the cabins, did a facelift on a ton of the spaces.
Okay. So what's literally in there?
Yeah.
It's like, yeah.
Walk
You
us
said
through
there's
it if we like
glamping?
drive in. Like, what are we gonna?
Because you said there's a lot of things you offered in the list that I saw.
Yeah, in the RV park.
Yeah.
So ultimately, when you pull up, it is Western themed. The little cabins to the right, they look like a little old Western town.
Cute.
So that's
kind
how
of
it was
fun.
all
Like
built.
saloons and stuff. Like
Yeah, saloons. There's an old rock gel.
Cool.
There's like a little 2-story with balconies.
Fun.
And it's like what you would see in an old Western movie set.
Interesting.
Yeah. And you know, really.
And this is in Rigby.
No, it's by Heisey.
Yeah.
By Heisey.
Ryrie is the city that it's,
Okay. Gotcha.
you know, really is located in, but it's on the way out to Kelly Canyon and Heisey
Gotcha.
on that main road.
Okay.
So if you haven't been out there, you definitely need to come check it out.
Yeah.
But you pull in to this little Western town. There's also a 3-bedroom, 2-bath log cabin
Okay.
on the property that's to the left.
Okay.
Cool wraparound porch.
Yeah.
Tons of, you know, pine trees that grow around it. There's a really, really cool pond that's right at the end of the little Western town.
Yeah.
When we first bought that property, it was kind of overgrown with weeds. And one of the first things we did was dig all that out, clear it out, and actually put a beach in. So you can walk right
And did
down
the little
to
pond.
That's cool.
Yeah, it's a cool place to hang out.
Interesting.
So it's an RV park, but you also have these glamping tents
and
Correct.
like
on another section. Is that
other
how it works?
accommodations.
Kind of all mixed together. So the total park has about 60 RV sites.
Oh wow.
So individual sites that you can bring your.
Bring your own in and park it.
Yeah.
Got it.
Then there's a 3-bedroom, 2-bath cabin.
Okay.
So that sleeps about 7.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
There's 11 themed cabins. So those are hard wall cabins.
Yeah.
Different themes, different bed configurations.
Yeah.
You know, some of the cabins have a twin and 2 fulls. Some of the cabins are just a queen bed. So each cabin facilitates a little bit different, you know, use as an individual or a family or a couple or.
Yeah.
So there's all kinds of, and those are all found on Airbnb. So easy to go on and look at and see if there's one that fits your needs.
Yeah.
And
Do
that's
people
just,
have like events there?
we have tons of events.
Yeah.
Yeah. Company parties, weddings,
Like in the cabins or just like on the grounds?
On that grounds.
In general?
on the grounds.
Yeah.
Family reunions are a huge hit.
Do you guys like help curate the space at all, or you just like go for it?
We pretty much just say go for it.
Okay.
Yeah, we're kind of hands off on that.
Sure.
And if they need help, if people needed help, you know, wrapping their heads around, you know, what to actually do, definitely we would be there to give that advice and kind of lead them in a direction. But family reunions come in and they rent the whole space.
Yeah.
So they'll rent
That
all
would be
the
nice for like a
cabins,
private
the lodge.
group to
Yeah.
just like
Yeah,
camp.
tons of fun.
Yeah.
And in the summer, that pond is completely full. So are you guys familiar with subwater?
No.
We'll talk about real Idaho things here.
Okay.
So subwater.
Inform me.
Is that cold water or
it's-
nasty water?
Subwater, it's clean. But
Okay.
subwater is just groundwater.
Okay.
So because, especially in that area, it was all river bottoms, right?
Yeah.
The landscape has changed. But as the Snake River rises, the aquifer, I mean, if you guys heard a lot about the aquifer this year, there was
Yeah. The
water
overflowing.
crisis.
Yeah. All
and-
that stuff.
Yeah. The aquifer is a big deal. Agricultural,
Yep.
you know, as Idaho grows and more people come in and start using water, that water has to come from somewhere. So the aquifer is a big deal because as the Snake River flows, it fills up the aquifer, which is just underground water.
Okay.
When it's at its peak and we're shipping water down to Twin Falls and, you know, further down the Snake River, naturally that groundwater fills up. And so the pond that's at Mountain River Ranch it's called a subwater pond. So as the Snake River rises, that
fills up.
groundwater rises and it fills that pond up
Interesting.
completely. It's an interesting
And
thing
it's not like dirty
No.
because it comes through. No.
because it comes from up in the ground.
Interesting.
And then we have a pump in there that circulates that
Yeah.
water.
Cool.
So,
So is it
then-
like big enough to swim?
oh yeah, swim, paddleboard,
Oh, wow.
kayak.
Cool.
Cool.
So then in the winter, it just drains.
Exactly. So as the Snake River water
Yeah.
flows, you know, the groundwater lessens, and so it drains almost
makes
completely
sense.
empty.
Okay. Have you noticed rentals differing in the winter or summer?
Yeah. What do you do
This-
to combat that?
So we basically shut the rental side of the RV park down. So our Airbnb, we basically say the middle of October is about the last time that you'll rent a cabin at Mountain River Ranch.
Interesting. Okay.
We haven't tried to leave them
so
open.
you're kind of closed right now, technically.
So the RV park is 100% closed.
Okay.
So the other facet to the business is the Christmas dinner shows.
Okay.
So Mountain River Ranch is famous, I guess you want to say, for 30 years.
Yeah.
Tran ran these. He would run his RV park in the summer. And then we start from the day after Thanksgiving until New Year's, and we do a Christmas dinner show.
Thanksgiving to New Year's.
What does that look like?
Yeah.
It's my favorite time.
Okay.
Okay, it's awesome. So it's basically a 6-week period. We light the whole area up with Christmas lights, Christmas
The
decorations.
whole RV park area.
The whole RV park.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
So you pull into the little western town. It's got white lights on it. We get a fire going in the fire pit. Hoping for just a real cool atmosphere. We'd love a little more snow right now, right?
That would help with the ambiance a little
make
bit.
a little more Christmas feeling.
Yeah.
But you pull up, you come into the little western town, and because there's no snow, right now it's a horse-drawn
Right,
wagon ride.
Fun.
Cool.
If there was enough snow on the ground, they would be sleighs.
Sure.
So you pull up somewhere between 5:20 and 6 o'clock,
Okay.
and the horse-drawn wagon comes up in the middle of the western town.
That's fun.
You load up, it takes you on about a 10 or 15 minute tour of the property through Christmas lights.
Cool.
Real fun activity
Like
for
a good activity to
dates,
Yeah.
families, company Christmas parties,
Mm-hmm.
all utilize the Mountain River Ranch and come out and do that.
That's
So
cool.
yeah, we do, we have a show tonight. Our first show start the day after Thanksgiving and run through New Year's Eve.
Okay.
So we do 6 nights a week.
What happens during
wow.
the show?
Yeah. So great question. So you take the wagon ride.
Yeah.
It takes you back to the little western town, drop you off. Then you drive back. So our neighbor has they used to call it the Meadow Muffin Theater. Do you guys know what a meadow muffin is?
No.
No. What is it?
A meadow muffin is a cow patty.
Oh.
Why is it called a metal muffin?
So it's like a barn? Is it just like an old
It is
cow
a barn.
Okay.
Yeah.
They call them meadow muffins because the cows, leave the muffins out in the meadow.
Oh, okay.
Oh.
Okay.
So
see.
it's a kind of a play on.
I see.
play on
I
words.
see. Okay.
But
okay.
Tran, being the cowboy that he was, he named the whole theater after the Meadow Muffin Theater.
That's so funny.
Yeah.
I like it.
So it's kind of a funny deal.
Yeah.
The new
It's
owner his name's Troy Keller. So when Troy purchased that portion when we bought the RV park, it's now just called the Snake River Meadow. But it's just it's
So
a
did he
barn.
sell them as 2 separate pieces?
Yeah.
Like they were originally one piece?
Correct.
I see. Okay.
So when Tran sold it, he separated the property and we bought the RV park portion. I'm gonna get a drink. So.
No,
Yeah,
that's
go
good.
for it.
That's good that the guy who now has the other side is still wanting to do this
Yeah.
whole show together.
It's
still.
cool. So we just rent it from him.
Okay.
But he runs it as a wedding venue during the summer.
Okay.
Really popular wedding venue. It's beautiful out there.
Yeah.
If you guys haven't been, during the summer, the water flows right behind the property. And
From
it
the
is
river?
From the river, yeah, from the
When
Snake
does it
River.
open back up in the summer?
His first weddings, I believe, are towards the end of May.
Is that with you also with the cabins?
Correct, yeah.
That way we're kind of cohesive.
Mhm. Our real RV and cabin, what am I going to say?
The park.
Schedule is middle of May till the middle of September.
So fairly short.
Fairly short.
Yeah.
A short time to make money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So-
And then, yeah.
I'm sure
So-
people take advantage of it. That short time, I'm sure it's busy.
Yeah, it's, when most people are out of school, most kids are out of school, most families are taking their vacations during that time.
Has it been busy the last few years or has it changed?
So it's a great question. So
Yeah.
our first year was the year after COVID, right? May 2021.
Yeah.
I'd never owned an RV park before, so we didn't know what to expect. The funniest story. So it's Memorial Day, right? That's the
Okay.
middle of May or the end of May.
Yeah. Yeah. Like
I
end of
always
May.
get them, and Labor Day's at the end. So
I couldn't tell you. I don't know.
I always get them mixed
Honestly,
Same.
who knows?
Yeah, so I think it's Memorial Day weekend. It's
Yeah,
that
we'll go with
last
that.
weekend in May.
Okay.
So we had just purchased Mountain River Ranch. Hadn't even hardly been open. That weekend, we had a main water line break.
Oh my gosh.
And our septic tank backed up.
What?
You have to expect something to go wrong. Like,
It's always the first weekend.
The
you
very
have
first
it.
weekend. Yeah. So here we are.
it's a big thing to go wrong, though.
Yeah. Oh, huge.
It's like
Huge.
the
Oh,
worst
no.
possible thing, probably.
That's annoying.
So what a learning experience. You know, our
Yikes.
very first weekend, we have 60 RVs up there.
No
Completely
way.
packed. Yeah.
Oh, because this place is already open and running, and like it's not like you had any time to
just
No.
transfer
get your
to you
gears going.
essentially.
correct. Yeah.
Oh.
That's a lot of pressure for sure.
Tons of pressure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Our first rodeo was
Just
literally
thrown right into it.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
a disaster.
So did you like have to bring in porta potties? Like what'd you do?
Luckily, I had a really good friend that owns a septic
Thank
company.
goodness.
And he came out.
They came up and pumped out the septic systems and took care of business.
Dang.
One of my partners has a backhoe. They brought the backhoe out, dug up the water line,
Oh my goodness.
fixed it, patched it back up,
There you
and
go.
off and running.
Yeah.
So in business, I think one thing that I've learned is connections are huge in any business that you try to operate, and having people that have maybe different expertise and things and ways to fix is huge
For
in
sure.
your success.
Yeah.
So what could have been a huge, letdown and
Sure.
disaster
Yeah.
actually ended up being just fine.
Mhm.
And, most of the guests probably didn't even realize there was a major problem,
Great.
just because it was able to be fixed, fairly rapidly.
Yeah.
It probably felt good then. Kind of like your first hurdle thrown at you and you handled it.
A big win.
You're like, we
Yeah.
can do this.
You're like, this is fine.
Yeah.
Progress.
It's funny, like you said, that in my mind, I thought I was buying a hands-off, easy way to just make money and let people pay you to park their RV there.
Yep.
I learned pretty quickly that the RV business is not a hands-off business.
Right.
Very interactive, yeah.
Very interactive.
Yeah. Which I love, but a different interaction because you're
Different.
Than what you probably expected. Yeah.
completely different than what I expected. In fact, I remember somebody saying that you bought yourself a full-time job. And in the back of my mind, I'm thinking, no, I didn't. I bought this cool place where
Yeah.
people are going to come to relax and, camp and just have a good time. And I'm going to be out there mingling with them and driving a four-wheeler around. But at times I bought myself definitely a full-time job.
So are you
What a fun job.
A fun job. Yes. I love it. Absolutely love
Yeah.
it.
It's closed right now, but then are you normally, I guess it's not closed. You have your dinner parties right now. Do you spend a lot of time there still?
So another aspect of the business, if you want me to get into it. So 2021, we purchased the RV park, absolutely slammed with trailers because everybody wanted to get out, right?
That was the thing that year was local United States
Yes.
camping and traveling.
Get out. So we were basically at capacity in the RV park for 4 straight months, 4.5 straight months. So as a business owner, as entrepreneurs, you can understand that income generation through being 100% full was incredible.
Yeah.
Right at opening too.
Yeah.
Yeah, right at opening.
yeah.
From open to close,
Yeah.
we were full. So we generated a ton of income in the RV Airbnb space. So
Because this
for
was
our,
before Airbnb kind of hit a lot of weird regulations and stuff, right?
I think it was kind of happening around that time.
yeah,
It was kind of coinciding around that time.
and we've never had a real issue with Airbnb. So I think we timed it where, most of that stuff had been kind of worked out.
Yeah.
So Airbnb is awesome. They're great to work with. We enjoy it, actually. They do all the scheduling. If there's ever an issue with an Airbnb guest, the coolest thing about Airbnb versus being your own landlord is if somebody comes in and breaks something, Airbnb handles
To do
that.
something.
Yeah. So it's like having your own management company.
Yeah.
And we haven't had a ton of that, but we've had a few guests come in that are, it's just natural. There's going to be some people that just don't respect your space.
People are just like that.
There's just going to be some people like that.
Mm-hmm.
So knowing that, you can go back to Airbnb and have that stuff rectified and taken care of is really cool.
Yeah.
So that's been a fun part of it. But
So 2021 was max capacity. How was 2022?
so 2022 definitely saw a little bit of a tail off. So 2022 was probably down about 10 to 15%.
Okay.
So this is where kind of like what you talked about. How do you look at your business and ensure that it's successful
Yeah.
with changes in market and things like that? So the second year, same thing. Again, I guess I'll go back 2021. We did do a dinner show as well.
Okay.
So if you guys don't
In
mind,
the winter time.
I'll tell you this cool little story about Tran.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I got to know him really well through the purchase process. He's 82.
Oh wow. Okay.
You would have never guessed. You would think he was like mid 60s,
Okay.
full of energy, just this vibrant, spirit, just this cool guy. I remember doing our final walkthrough on the property, and he came and grabbed my arm and kind of held me back from the rest of the group that was walking through. And he said, Trent, you're never going to make money on an RV park. I'm like, okay, great. I'm paying you $1 million+ for this
He's
RV
like
park.
honest with you about it right there.
Yeah, we're closing, and now you're telling me I'm going to go broke.
That's
hey,
hilarious.
thank you so
Okay.
much. He said, you need to bring back the dinner shows. Well, I'm not a singer. I'm not artistic at all. I don't know how to cook really. I'm thinking dinner shows, it's music, it's food, it's things that I had never even dreamt of. I was
Like
buying
hosting a dinner party.
Yeah, I was
Yeah.
buying it for real estate. Real estate was my thing. And he said, you really need to bring back the dinner shows. Now think about it. Tran ran an RV park when RVing was not as maybe
Sure.
common or
Yeah.
Oh my God, right? There's so many more options nowadays.
Yeah.
I remember my grandparents' RV, and
Well, just like even
it was a
just
huge deal for them to have one. And at the time, when like now everyone has one just in their yard.
but
Yeah.
even
Fifth
like
wheelers.
with like camping locations, like through TikTok, everybody and their mom has bought a camping place for people to now go and camp.
Yeah. So same
It's
thing.
just like it's a
Campers are cool now too.
Campers are cool now.
Yeah.
it's
It's just a thing. And,
Yeah.
and I think he ran his park through a time frame where it maybe wasn't very lucrative for him. It probably just was kind of a side thing that he did to get to the point where he ran his dinner show. So I took that advice to heart.
yeah.
And actually, that's when I approached my wife and said, hey, Tran is telling me that we really need to do dinner shows.
So this was like after you signed papers. He
No,
said
it was the final walkthrough. So it was like
haven't
the day
signed yet.
before.
He
Yeah.
was like, you're.
Yeah, I was buying it anyway.
That's nice
but
of him to say that. I mean,
a little warning right before
yeah,
you close.
yeah.
It was cool. Like, and he's a friend to this day. Like, I really value his.
Is he still in the area or did he leave?
Yeah, he lives right there close by
Oh,
in
good.
the summer,
Okay.
and then they winter in that hurricane kind of southern Utah, Nevada area.
Okay.
So he obviously was very successful.
Yeah.
Did very well.
Yeah.
But so I approached my wife and said, hey, what do you think about hosting a dinner party for 100 people, right?
Need to recruit some help.
Yeah. So my wife took that 100% completely over.
Yeah.
So the first year we killed it on the RV because it was the year after COVID. We booked out every single dinner show. Same thing. You think about
Nice.
it, people weren't able to get out for, a year and a half.
Sure.
whatever.
They just want some activities and stuff.
Yeah,
to
we can
do.
come out and have dinner and we can be with our friends and our family and we don't have to wear a mask. We don't have to social distance. We filled
Exciting
up every
times.
single show.
Yeah.
And so it was
whole nother
great.
world.
Whole nother world.
So for these shows, what is the entertainment, and then what is the food and drink situation like?
So the food and drinks are roast beef or chicken, a baked potato, of course. We're in Idaho.
Okay.
Corn, salad, bread, and then ice cream and a cookie for dessert.
So it's like a set menu, so you know what you're getting every time.
Exactly.
Gotcha.
see.
Every time
Okay.
you get the same food.
Okay.
The food's delicious. The
Who
food's
cooks it?
great. Yeah. The entertainment has changed every year.
Okay.
Okay.
This year, are you guys familiar with the Bar J Wranglers at all?
Mm-mm.
No.
So the Bar J Wranglers were a country western band that performed in Jackson Hole for 50 years, for a
Okay.
long, long time.
Like just live there and
Lived there on a ranch, had their own
residency
ranch.
essentially.
Yeah. And they're very, very successful. You should go look them up, Bar J Wranglers. They've now since retired. But their fiddler, Tim Hodgson, who fiddled for the Bar J Wranglers for 34 years, is actually our main band member.
Cool.
So he started the band this year. It's Tim
Yeah.
Hodgson, Mindy Palmer, and Vincent Crofts. So Tim's a world champion fiddle player.
Cool.
So
Lucky
what's
to have
the
him
theme
then.
of the music then of the night? It's not, is it still Western
Very
themed?
Western
It's still
themed.
Western.
And then tons of Christmas.
Okay. Western Christmas.
Western Christmas, sing-alongs.
Okay.
So you think about it, you want to come real traditional Christmas songs with a country twist
I see.
that you
okay.
get to sing along to.
Mm-hmm.
And then just really incredible musicians. Mindy sings, the main singer, plays the stand-up bass.
Mm-hmm.
And you do these events at the barn.
We do those events at the barn.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Okay.
After the
After the
horse-drawn
carriage
carriage
ride.
ride.
After the horse-drawn carriage ride. Yeah.
Okay. So did you like set up tables in there just all around?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So any of this can be seen if you go to our website, mountainriverranch.com. There's all kinds of photos. We are on social media.
Okay.
So Facebook, Instagram. We try to post videos. And
Speaking of, who runs that for you?
Yeah. How do you manage your social media and you're managing your RV park at the
it's
same
crazy. I do a lot of it just by posting on Facebook.
time? Okay.
I have a daughter that's 18 and she does some of the social media.
That should help.
That helps a little bit. Are you guys familiar with Volpine Marketing at all?
I've heard
Yeah,
of them.
yes.
Through the chamber. Mhm.
Yeah. So Ryan Jose has helped us with our social media as well. He's an awesome individual, great guy. And then John Juarez is a good friend of mine. He actually built our whole website, the ticketing side of it, and he does some of the social media as
That's
well.
a lot for like the literal ticket side because you have a lot of scheduling and things. And
Yeah.
it's pretty complex.
Coming from like
Complex.
different places. And
Yeah.
Yeah, buying
schedules.
from all over the place.
That can be difficult.
Yeah, and his name's John Juarez. Surge Fulfillment is his company. He did an incredible job. I know him because he built. So going back to the mortgage days, we were the first mortgage broker in Southeast Idaho that you could do an online application with. And
big
John
time.
Juarez,
Yeah, that was big
Literally.
time.
Yeah.
96 or 97, was a huge.
Whoever has a computer to do
Yeah.
this application.
Yeah. You didn't have to always go and sit at their kitchen table anymore and fill out applications by
funny.
hand.
Yeah.
So that was a huge
I bet that was
thing.
such a pain though to fill it out through the whatever software that was.
Oh, I
It was-
bet. Yeah.
Probably like classic Excel
Going
setup.
back.
Like
Yeah.
it's really basic.
And I remember the first time he told me I needed a secure website, like, so the HTTP, and then if there's an S at the end of it, that means it's secure, right? And we started having to pay for these websites so that people could put their
That's so funny.
social security numbers in and credit card information.
Right, because you're
in.
dealing with a lot of information, like hackers and stuff like that, for sure.
Tons.
Yeah,
That's like before the days.
which
of,
is
like,
nice now.
hackers.
So many of
Yeah.
right, so many of the things that we use now for our credit card processors and things like they have that security because it's been enough time.
Been
But you're right at the
perfected.
time. Then I'm sure that was like a huge.
It was like
deal.
the first time.
Yeah.
It was like the first. Yeah. I remember when he came up and showed me, I was like, what is all this stuff?
Who
Literally.
cares? Like,
It's been really fun to kind of,
See
see
the
that
journey.
process grow
Totally.
and then be able to go to him and say, hey, buddy, I don't know what I'm doing here, but we need a platform that people can buy tickets to a dinner show. And then to watch somebody that's what they do, build this thing out of scratch and make it so it works. And, you get people that, there's weekends that we have 150 people a night
Nice.
coming out to these shows, and seamlessly he's got it. So they book a ticket and when they're coming and
Yeah.
how many are in their party. And
Is it like stacked timing? It has to be stacked timing because I'm like 150 people in one night. How do you do that?
it's pretty cool.
That's a lot of
cool how
people.
it works. We try to get people to show up for the wagon ride between 5:20 and 6 o'clock.
Yeah. Everybody.
Yeah,
Yeah,
everybody. We
okay.
just open it up.
Yeah.
There's 2 wagons that start, and they're about 10 to 15 minutes. So, somehow it just works
how many
out.
people on a wagon?
16.
Oh, that's a
Oh,
lot of
huge.
people.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. That's
So
way
you're
more than
taking
I'm thinking.
30 at a time.
Right,
Okay.
I'm like doing the math
I'm
in
like
my head. and
5
it's like,
people, 6 people in a wagon? That's not going to work. Okay. That makes
have you
more
ever had a
sense.
situation where just everyone showed up at 5:20?
And-
Like you had 100 people.
You know
and
what?
you're
It
just like,
never fails. You
horses
always
like
have
run
a,
faster.
Yeah, you always have a rush. But that's kind of the fun,
Yeah.
right? Stand around the campfire.
Sure, because you have the ambiance of
Right.
it
The
all.
campfire situation is going
Yeah.
on.
So what
That's
you try
good.
to
That's
learn
good.
is, you try just not to get overwhelmed. Just take it for what it is.
just
and
chilling.
Just chill.
We're just chilling.
Because they come out there for a chill night. They don't want to see you all like stressed and
Yeah. And for the most
Yeah.
part, people don't care either.
Sure.
They're out there for a good time.
Yeah.
They're not rushed. They're, you do get a few that you get that sense where they're either put out or,
Sure.
and so you try to accommodate them, of course, before anyone else, or just make sure that they're okay. But
Yeah.
for the most part, people are there just to have a good evening
That's good.
and enjoy. And so you just try to foster that same feeling.
Yeah.
So, have you done collaborations in town with other businesses to try to like get some attention?
You know what? You mentioned the chamber. So we just actually joined the Chamber of Commerce this year.
Okay.
And I just found out today from Troy Dean, who's one of the members, they do a sneak peek on Mondays. And so we're going to do a sneak peek of the Mountain River Ranch Christmas dinner show. So collaboration that way, probably the Chamber's our first. This year I sent my daughter and a bunch of her friends out with flyers and had them go to a bunch of local businesses and just drop off a flyer.
Sure.
I talked about bringing your company Christmas
Just
party.
general awareness.
Yeah.
General awareness
Yeah.
is huge.
Just know it exists.
Yeah. That was one of the things when my wife saw your guys' show. She's like, you need to go do the podcast. You go out there and let people know what Mountain River Ranch is and,
For sure.
and what's all offered. And so it's been fun. But, like what you guys brought up, 2021 was huge because it was right after COVID. And you didn't really have to do anything but just be open.
Yeah.
And you could kill it.
Yeah.
2022 slowed down a little bit. And so we saw that coming and thought, okay, how do we, for 2023, how do we get ahead of the curve? There's more RV parks opening up. There's, the Mountain America Center never existed. And so now there's concerts in the winter.
Just other activities that are now changing.
You have to work harder. LaBelle Lake came in and started doing ice shows, the Christmas River. Now there's all these different venues that you can go to and spend your hard-earned dollars over the Christmas season that we didn't really face that first couple of years.
Sure.
And so for us, it was, what do we offer differently? The sleigh rides, incredible music, great food. And then how do we get the word out on that? And that's when I started talking with Full Pine Marketing, John Juarez, handing out flyers, the Chamber of Commerce. One other thing that we did, which is
planting all those seeds.
Planting seeds.
Yeah.
We converted about 20 of our RV spots to long-term living.
Oh.
I don't know if you guys have even seen that.
That sounds like a great deal for you, right?
That is, for you, that would be great.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Then you don't have to worry about people coming in and out.
I have 20 spots where people stay there all year round.
They know what they're doing. You don't have to explain things to them.
That's nice.
That's the hands-off real estate we were talking about
That's
earlier.
what you want. You want 60 full-time people just camping.
Yes.
Yeah.
I would love it. In fact, if we could go 40, let's do 40 full-time. They handle all their own stuff, and then I get 20 transitionals
That's a lot of
that come
people.
in summer.
Or like groups. If it's like 40 RVs or trailers, or that's a lot. That's a lot.
It's a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, hey, it's a scarcity thing. People will be like, I want to go to that one. There's only 20 spots open.
It's unique. If you guys have never been, you guys have to
We
come.
need to go see
In
it. I
fact,
haven't been down. We haven't taken you down to High C or. Yeah, High C. I keep getting lava stuck in my head.
Where
High
was
C
that
and
one that
everything.
we did the video at this summer?
Lava? Was it lava?
No, it was towards High C.
A video at in the
Yeah,
summer?
with the
in the water?
Yeah, that lake.
That was like going towards High C. Like you'd have to keep going.
Or like Paige's video, that lake. What's that lake?
That's Blacktail.
Oh, that's where I've been. Blacktail.
Yeah.
That's
So
not
how
that
much
direction.
how much further past Blacktail
That's
are
not
you?
that.
We're closer than Blacktail.
Oh, nice.
Just a little bit different direction.
Okay.
Yeah, I would say it's
Great,
not
'cause
that
that was
direction.
really close. So
Yeah.
easy.
It's from right where we're at to get to Mountain River Ranch is probably a 30-minute drive.
Sure.
Cool.
Yeah,
Okay.
so it's not crazy. The cool thing about it is when you get there, you feel like you're in a whole nother world.
That's fun.
I mean, it's 30 minutes
What's
away.
around
but
you? Is there like other businesses or is it just field?
There's a few other RV parks.
Okay.
There's one right there close to us, but other than that, it is the cottonwood trees.
Cool.
A
Pretty
awesome-
enclosed space.
Yeah, awesome view of the mountains right there. And then the Snake River runs right, 300 feet past our property line. So it's a really cool, just tucked in piece of property.
Yeah.
I think that's why I like it so much is I go out there and you just feel like you're in this whole other world.
Totally.
Life slows down, the hustle and bustle's gone.
Yeah.
Just gives you time to go out there and just reflect.
Yeah.
Even when it's crazy, 60 RVs out there and tons of people, there's just this sense of like calm and peace.
Yeah. That's nice. That's
so
really
it's cool.
nice.
Yeah. It's like, it's almost
Right,
like
it's
One
like
with nature.
it's like starting any new job. It's always like chaotic during chaotic times, but then after you've had those rushes or busy moments, after a while you learn to just like live in it, and it's like normal.
Like, we're fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, like this is fine. We can handle
Everything's
this.
burning
Like,
around me, but I'm fine.
yes.
you have to have a few of those burning down moments where you're like, am I gonna make it? And then
Oh, for sure.
and then it's a lot easier.
And then you can make it through anything.
You can. And,
Yeah.
and it's
and
funny.
now eventually I'm probably 60 will feel small for you. You'll be like, we need more space.
Let's add to it.
Yeah.
It's funny though, because like you said, like everything that can go wrong, every year you're like, oh, we've already done that. And there's nothing that can happen that we can't face. Like septic backing up, main water lines breaking. Last year during the Christmas show, the water line froze.
Oh no.
So
And then you like can't really
Are you
do much.
finding that a lot of these repairs are like, because this was built in 85, were they done, like, are they pretty outdated? A lot of these things you're fixing?
yeah, most of them were just things that just needed.
So it's probably a good thing in a way that it's happening.
Yeah.
Like,
Just get things up to
Yeah.
to par. But it's been fun. Like you said, it's, what would life be without hurdles that you have to figure out how to overcome?
yeah.
Keeping things exciting.
Yeah. And if you can get to the point, like you said, where things are burning down around you, but you just are enjoying the moment and realizing that, you know what, we'll get through it somehow, then it's not so bad.
Yeah. It's not bad. So do you have any advice for someone who's wanting to pursue their own passion or start their own business?
For sure. I would say don't wait.
Okay.
I think fear is a big controlling factor in our lives.
Sure.
It's funny, and I've had people come up to me and, at the dinner show or at the RV park, and it's funny how they'll say like, "Oh, you're so driven," or I always use this comment. It's a D word. It's not driven. It's desperate.
Literally though.
Yeah.
But I'm glad you see it that way.
Yeah. I'm glad you see me.
I have bills to pay.
Yes, 100%. I'm glad you see me as driven. I'm a desperate person, right? I'm here because I'm desperate.
Yeah.
So I think really it's mindset, right?
Sure.
I'll give you an example. I have a son that was pulling wires, doing electrical, taking night classes at CEI, and had an opportunity to go out and do some of these door-to-door sales. And he was really torn, like, I've got this for sure thing that's a good income, it'll be a good career, or this unknown of going out and doing door-to-door sales. Basically, I just said, look, you can always go back to school and you can always go
What if?
Seriously.
follow this career path. You're not always going to have an opportunity to go try do something different.
Right.
That's one thing people don't realize more in those moments.
Yeah.
Like,
Or the think about it, but let it pass.
think about it, but let it pass. And maybe they let fear or the unknown,
or just
it's
others
it's
discouraging
easier
you from
to
doing
not.
it.
or
do
people
it.
are discouraging
Others will
you.
be like, I don't think that's a good idea. When it was like, yeah, that was literally the only time in your life that you could have done that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think the advice is just take a risk, right? Don't be afraid to take a risk. And that's not easy to say. I've faced, bankruptcy basically almost. I've never had to go bankrupt, but you guys are too young, but the crisis of 2008, the big recession, we were heavy in the mortgage business. Everything we did was real estate, and all of that crashed in in a few month period in 2008. And so in 2008, here
Especially when you have
are.
something invested and then now you have something to lose, where I'm like, I've got nothing, like what else can you take from me? Where you're like, I'm in the negative.
Right. Yeah.
I'm in the negative.
When you have something to lose, it's
Yeah,
hard.
yeah.
And we basically lost everything.
Yeah.
We kept our house and we kept a few things, but that was a real crazy time of life. You're like, what are we going to do to rebuild what we built from 1998 to 2008?
Right.
That was wiped out in a recession.
In such a crazy time of growth too. It was like a whole different, it was like its own 2020 after of just economics.
For
it's very
sure.
weird. It's very weird.
Very weird.
I
Very
remember that.
weird
Yeah,
time
my
of
dad
life.
had to leave town. He went to another state to look for work. It was a lot. Yeah.
Yeah. And it affected so many people.
Yeah.
And so that's one thing. It's like, your mindset is going to get you to where you are in life. And you're either going to fight and you're either going to, you know, figure out a way to make it happen, or you're going to give up. And, you know, that's really what life is there's always going to be a different challenge. Some are going to be big, you know, some are going to be little, but how do we take those and internalize them? And then what do we do with them? And really, I think, my advice is for people just to have faith that, you know, whatever it is, whether it's, you know, God or some higher being, or, you know, not even religious, the right things work out in life if you just put forth effort. You know, be a good person, strive for good things, and somehow it all works out.
Yeah.
You know, mine's obviously faith-based. I feel like, you know, as long as I'm not that things are going to be perfect, but things work out.
Yeah.
You know, things are okay in the end.
Yeah.
And so don't be afraid to just try it. And if you feel like there's something you want to do, don't, like you said, don't let anyone discourage you or tell you it's a bad idea, because, you know, they don't know until you actually try.
Generally, if they are discouraging you too, they're the person who never took that.
Yeah. They didn't
chance
take
or
the risk
opportunity.
themselves.
Yeah, they didn't take
Because
that
anyone
step.
that did do it and, you know, had success with it, like, isn't going to tell you that.
Like,
No.
you'd be
They're
like,
going to
do
tell
it.
you go for it.
Do it.
you know?
Yeah, do it. And
Do it.
And it might suck.
Yeah.
And there's going to be times
it.
when you're going to regret doing it.
Right.
But you'll
But do it.
learn.
There will be times where you regret for sure. Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
And then it'll all be worth it.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
Yeah.
In the end.
If you are trying to do good things.
You know what? Even if it's not successful,
You still learned.
you still
Right.
learned invaluable lessons that'll help you with your next venture, whatever it is.
100%.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah.
No, I think that's great
It
advice.
all
Trust the
falls
process.
into
Trust
place
yourself.
for a reason.
Trust the process. And then, like you said, you both said this, try not to get too worked up. You know, try not to be too emotional. And that's kind of hard to do. And
Super hard
when
sometimes.
things are going wrong.
Yeah.
And I think it's taken me a long time my wife will tell you, big hurdles I handle really, really well. It's the little things. It's the little.
They just add up and add up. And,
I don't handle little stresses very well. They drive me crazy. I mean, I'd much rather have like some big thing that I'm dealing with.
But you like know how to handle versus
Yeah,
like
for some reason I handle that better.
personal conflict is just like annoying to deal with and
literally.
For sure.
causing
Okay,
headache.
so where can everyone look you up again? You said it before, but what's your Instagram handle?
It is just Mountain River Ranch.
Mountain River Ranch.
Yeah.
And you're on Facebook also?
Without also Mountain River Ranch.
Okay.
The website, mountainriverranch.com.
Perfect. And they can book all their tickets and all the things on there.
Everything, yeah.
Okay.
All the Airbnb links are right there on mountainriverranch.com.
Okay.
Cool. And you can see all the photos of these
Yeah, the insides of the cabins.
campers. Okay.
Yep,
Cool.
And the cabins aren't open until the summer, right?
correct.
Okay.
Yeah,
Cool.
Summertime.
Very cool.
yeah.
So do
That sounds
people need to
fun.
like book now? Like, do they get reserved out pretty quickly?
You know what? You actually can't even book the cabins
Got it.
quite yet. I think they
Okay.
open up for booking after the end of the year.
That would make sense.
Yeah.
That makes
Yeah.
sense. Okay, great. Well, thank you so much for coming on our podcast
Yeah.
today. It
Thank
was great
you
getting
both.
to
Fun
learn
hearing
more
your
about
story.
you.
Yeah, been my pleasure.
I feel like we just scratched the surface. I bet there's so much more information that we could chat about.
There's crazy information, but thank you so much. It's been a pleasure to
Of
be
course.
here.
Yeah. No, that was really fun. Cool.
Okay. I think that's it. If you made it this far, like, subscribe, follow. It means a lot. Any other messages?
No, I think that's everything.
Think that's
Follow
it?
us in Mountain River Ranch.
Thank
Okay,
you.
bye.
Okay. Bye.